Hello and welcome to my training video on Bechtel and Microsoft Excel macros. Bechtel is an international engineering, construction, and project management company that was started with Warren Abraham Bechtel in 1898. Warren started as an independent laborer working in the Frontier Railroad in America. Within a year, he was recognized for his leadership as a foreman and was offered a job with Southern Pacific's engineering department. In the years to come, while working for Southern Pacific, Warren would be given many opportunities to prove himself as a hard worker and a leader to those around him, and by excelling in each of them, he quickly gained respect from those he worked with in the industry. In 1906, this respect landed him his first independent contract to cut through limestone on a Western Pacific line near Sunol, California. This project allowed Warren to form his own company, W.A. Bechtel Co. After the project was complete, Warren was determined to prove his determination to build a lasting organization, and by buying one of the more sophisticated pieces of machinery from Southern Pacific, he started to prove his resolve. From there, W.A. Bechtel Co. only grew larger, winning many substantial contracts such as the Klamath Highway in Northern California in 1919 and Bowman Dam in 1925. However, what set Warren's organization apart from the others of the time was his determination to keep the quality of work and the quality of life for employees as first priorities. This gave Warren Bechtel Co. a unique look, which helped Warren get the opportunity to work on his first mega project, the Hoover Dam. The project was far too big for any one company at the time, so a consortium calling itself Six Companies Inc. was formed to take on the project. This project represents a pivotal event in the history of Bechtel, as it helped shape the image of Bechtel that carries on today. Since then, Bechtel has taken what it has learned from the Hoover Dam project and applied it to complete more than 25,000 projects across 160 countries on all 7 continents, all while keeping its core values of hard work, quality, and innovation a central focus, making it a leader in the corporate giants. Bechtel's expertise include infrastructure, nuclear, security and environment, oil, gas, chemicals, mining, and metals. They are able to complete all stages of a project, from initial concept all the way to construction. While I was working in Bechtel, I was on the QC LNG project in Curtis Island in Queensland. This project was to construct a liquid natural gas, or LNG plant, that would create LNG from coal seam gas. The plant consisted of 2 trains, with each train able to work independently of each other to create a total of 8 million tons of LNG per annum. This LNG plant was the first of its kind in the world, with other LNG plants only taking gas from large natural gas wells. My job in QC LNG was a field piping engineer. I was responsible for helping the piping team check the build quality of all the constructed piping on the site. This meant there was a lot of repetitive work that required to be catalogued in a database, as well as the requirement to complete forms and checklists for the work completed. So I was able to increase the efficiency of my work and make large jobs easier. I was taught how to create simple macros in Excel. I primarily use macros within Excel to quickly search a database and compile a list of all the flange connection IDs in a system. However, they were also used. This is an example macro that would have been used on a QCLNG site. It is designed to take information from an outside database and import it into this spreadsheet in a form format. It is operated by using this push button that opens up a pop-up box where you can add the system info, which will then populate the form. The button can be reused again to populate the form with the different systems. This is a bit complicated and we'll be not touching on this type of macro. It is just an example of what was used. Instead, we'll be looking at a simple leave accrued macro. This spreadsheet is already set up with the formulas, it just needs the macro to be inputted. it is based on just the employees, weeks worked, leave accrued, time taken, and leave left. To start the macro, we will go up to the Developer tab and use Record Macro. This will prompt you to make a macro name. For this, it will be add one simple. You can add it to a shortcut key. We will be using Control L, and now it's recording. It will stay in recording until you press the stop recording button. To do this macro, we'll be copying the weeks worked and pasting them into an unused cell, then using a formula, you'll add 1 to each of the numbers. We'll be copying these new numbers into the original cells as values, deleting what was used, then stopping the recording. Now each time that you activate this macro, you can the weeks worked will add 1, which will look at the leave accrued, and formulas will take care of the rest. As you see, you can use the macro from the Macros tab by using Control L, or by inserting a button, which can be done from Insert, Button, drawing the button, signing the macro, and then just pressing the button. As you can see, every time that the macro runs, the numbers will appear and then be deleted down here. For a large complicated spreadsheet, this can be an issue, so if you are proficient with coding, you can look in the Visual Basic for applications in Excel, which will, you can see all the macros in code form. So the macro that we just made is here, and it shows you exactly what's being happening. You're selecting a range, copying, pasting, using a formula, copying, pasting again, and then clearing the data. Another way to do it, which I've done recently, is looking at just adding 1 to each of the cells through a code. This is one that I've done before, and I'll show you how it works. I'll make a second button. Sorry, that was... Now, by pressing this, nothing appears down here, and just the numbers change. As using the coding in the Microsoft Visual Basic software. To recap on the training video, macros in Microsoft Excel can complete many tasks, from changing the formatting of particular cells to moving or extracting information from databases. Simple macros can be created by using the Record Macro button in the Developer tab, or if you're proficient at coding, more complex macros can be created from the Visual Basic for Applications editor. Macros can also be assigned to shortcut keys or to physical buttons within the workspace. They are great at handling large amounts of data or repetitive tasks. Thank you for listening to my training video, and I hope that you have learned something new about Bechtel and macros in Microsoft Excel.